For 8 long years, the Fortnite storyline has been a mystery. Live events, the cubes, the 0 point, the 7, the Omniverse, and everything in between. And now, every clue has fallen into place. The truth has finally been revealed. So we just had probably the best event in Fortnite history, 0 Hour, where the entire Omniverse fought against the Dark Presence, and the 7 returned. It was absolutely incredible. But the most interesting part about this event was actually at the end. It was very easy to miss, but if you watched the cutscene very carefully at the end, you would see that a secret message quickly flickered past, and when pausing it at the perfect time, the message read, "Training run complete. Total elapsed time in base reality. 8 years, 9 weeks, 3 days, 9 hours, and 30 minutes. Total simulated time across all integrations, 1.06... Yeah, I'm not reading that part, you guys can work that out. Learning phase complete. Decommissioning error, critical protocol, the Dark Presence. Decommissioning anomaly containment protocol, blank. Beginning phase 2, executing program, blank. And a lot of you guys are probably confused about this, but this part was the most important piece of lore we have ever gotten in Fortnite, and it changes everything, so I'm going to explain it for you guys. So it all started billions of years ago when the Big Bang formed every universe in existence. And at the center of it was Reality Zero, and it was here where the Big Bang's energy compressed itself into an orb we call the 0 point. And then we have the Nothing, who embodies the place of pure nothingness that existed before the 0 point emerged, and is the founder and leader of the army of the Last Reality, whose goal is to annihilate the entire Omniverse so that only it remains, like before the 0 point existed. The Last Reality knew that the best way to achieve this would be by using the 0 point, which is the center of the entire Omniverse, but the 0 point is the only thing more powerful than the Last Reality and the Nothing. They can't invade without understanding it or wearing it down, or it will fail, causing the Last Reality to lose forever. The Nothing watches us outside of time and space and knows exactly what is going to happen in the future. The Last Reality began training their army by running simulations on the island, like when the Cube Queen invaded or when the Chrome and the Herald attacked. Think of it like a simulation that the military does. They train with real assets and weapons, but they are not actually fighting anyone, it's for training purposes. It's not like a computer simulation where it's all fake, this actually does happen. The Last Reality is always manipulating what happens next, looking for possible weaknesses in the 0 point, and weakening it down without anyone realizing. This is why so much stuff has happened, and why there is always a constant threat against the 0 point. The Last Reality has manipulated everything because of what the Nothing wants to achieve, and because it knows what's going to happen. Think of the Nothing being able to see across the Omniverse, like the Watcher from Marvel's What If. It's important to know that all of the characters and everything that happens is very real, but all being manipulated by the Last Reality. During the Last Reality's Cube Queen simulation, they collected huge amounts of data on how fighters can resist them, like how the 7 and the Imagined Order did. And if you remember, the Cube Queen's Anthem music pack, which was in the Battle Pass for Chapter 2 Season 8, she said, "You're just a player in my show. Don't you wish you knew the mystery? Everything you thought was true was just part of the game I made for you." She also mentions how the Imagined Order's battle with the 7 is in vain because it doesn't matter, meaning she knows what will happen. During the 0 War with the 7 against the Imagined Order, PD saw the future on how we were going to lose against the Imagined Order. He desperately wanted to learn how to drive, and when the collision event came, the mech almost got defeated, but then PD came and saved us with the Slurp Truck, which completely repaired the mech. But it was the Last Reality who put that into his head so that the Imagined Order would be defeated because they were the ones who were protecting the 0 point. The Last Reality saw Geno and the Imagined Order as their biggest threat, since Geno was the only one who could protect the 0 point from the Last Reality. But after the Imagined Order's defeat, the 0 point was free and vulnerable, which the 7 didn't realize until it was already too late, because this gave the perfect opportunity for the Last Reality to invade, making the 0 point weaker and weaker until it couldn't take it anymore and was shattered and scattered across the Omniverse. Again, this was all part of the Last Reality's plan. And now, after 8 full years of gathering information and weakening the 0 point, a new threat emerged called the Dark Presence, who managed to get a hold of one of the 0 point shards and became extremely powerful. The Dark Presence became a decommissioning error in the Last Reality's plan, which means he needed to be controlled or destroyed, probably because he couldn't be manipulated very well. The Last Reality did actually have a plan for the Dark Presence. He lives inside the Spirit Realm, which is directly connected to the Last Reality. We learned that in Chapter 2 Season 8 when the Cube Queen invaded that the Last Reality has a border around the Spirit Realm, so we couldn't connect to it. And we also learned that if you could connect to the Spirit Realm, you would have visions of the future. And when you think about characters in the story that have seen the future before, there's Bunker Jonesy, Peely, and Hope. The Last Reality connected the Spirit Realm to them on purpose to shape the events of what happens on the island. And the last reality decided the dark presence needed to go, so as a containment protocol, the last reality changed an already existing reality, which is Fortnite OG, and sent in a red cube instead of a purple cube, which was set out to destroy the dark presence. After it located another 0-point shard under Loot Lake inside the vault, the red cube went inside of it, where it could access all realities, and it waited for the right moment. And then in the Fortnite 0-hour live event we just saw, the red cube rifted in at the perfect time to defeat the dark presence. But you're probably wondering, didn't Jonesy bring in the red cube? Yes, he did, but remember, the last reality is manipulating everything. I think the Nothing might have put the fault into Jonesy's head to call in the red cube with his portal gun, making him think it was his own actions when in fact it was the Nothing's plan all along. And now with the dark presence gone, the last reality has moved on to phase 2, and that's when we saw the secret message. Phase 1 was all of Fortnite from 2017 until now, and according to the message, that was just the training mode. So now that the training phase has been completed and there's nothing in their way, the last reality is preparing for their next move, which is getting all of the 0-point shards, which is exactly what our heroes are trying to do right now on the Chapter 7 island. The last reality have already invaded the island with a spaceship hovering over, and I think they're going to let the heroes get the 0-point shards. And then when the 0-point is fully back together, the Dark Voyager, who is the new herald for the Nothing, will make his next move. Guys, the Fortnite storyline is absolutely insane. The last reality and the Nothing are absolutely terrifying. Everything that happens is being controlled by them, and there's literally posters on the map that say the Nothing is watching, nothing to see here. The Fortnite storyline is so bad, and if you guys want to see more storyline content from me, make sure you guys like and subscribe and let me know in the comments. And if you guys want to see the entire Fortnite storyline but in movie cinematic form, you can check out this video on the screen right now, which is Chapter 1, and you guys can start from there. Thank you guys for watching.